Eee-wee. Well, strike two for West Coast choppers. Well, I hate to do stuff like this, but I just do it. So, yikes. I had it in the wrong hole, so we're good.
Sorry, bro, but this show's about me.
Yo, what is going on, people? So, I know I'm going to get bombarded, if I haven't already, about what you guys saw in the background when I'm working on the Sputnik bike. It's going to be this bike, or this frame, I should say. Yeah, so West Coast Dominator. This is a one of one that I know of. This is a, I don't know what the stretches are, but I do know one thing. She got a little booty. She's skinny booty bike. So this is the next West Coast chopper build that I'm doing. It is a Dominator, a one of one as far as I know. It is a 140 millimeter rear tire bike. I don't know of any others out there. Most of them are going to be 200 or bigger. The owner of this bike actually has a Dominator frame for sale. It's expensive. It's $12,000. A lot of people like, oh my God, $12,000 for a Dominator frame? That's ridiculous. They're $3,500 frames, blah, blah, blah. They're $3,500 for a frame when you can get one. But if you can't get one, it could be a $100,000 frame for all he cares. What do I think price-wise? I think that's high, but if I had one, I'd probably do the same damn thing. So, actually, if I had one, I'd build the damn thing. But I believe his is a 200 rear tire. I've seen them as big as 240s, 250s, 280s maybe. But yeah, very rare to see a frame ready to be built. So there's that. So if you need a frame, you want a Dominator, and you've got deep pockets, holler at me and I'll get you in touch with that guy. I'm not going to just put his info out there because I don't want him getting any kind of hate mail or anything like that. But yeah, if you're a serious buyer, let me know and I'll get you in touch with him. Anyways, back to this bike, 140 skinny bike. I know you're thinking like, oh, how do you know it's a real West Coast chopper, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you don't just come up with machine programs to machine rear axle stays like that. The axle says FU on it. That's like, yeah, this is true West Coast chopper. It's got the real cool arrow type piece of tubing down here at the bottom, whatever you call that. It's not just ovalized. It's like fat on one side and then it tapers to a kind of almost a point on the other side. It's got all the machined gussets for control mounts, which this is going mid-control, so I will be cutting all of those off. I usually go through detailed half-hour talks about these things, about my builds, but I don't think you guys like that. There you go, Dominator in the headset. Yeah, a lot of times people are like, okay, let's get on with it. Let's get on with it. So the customer, I guess you're asking the customer. So if you look at one of my first videos right here, Omar's 140 CFL. He's got a thing for skinny bikes. So building him another one, building him a Dominator. I think he was very happy with the quality of work that I did, the cleanliness, kind of working together. We worked well together. There's some things that I didn't like, things I told him he shouldn't do, and he did it, and I was okay with it. And guess what? Got a call. Hey, I think we need to switch some stuff out. I told you. But no. Yeah, so this one's going to be cool. And he had a couple ideas, and now he's letting me run with it. So let me show you what we're going to be doing. If you want to check it out, keep going. If you don't want to check it out and you don't want to see it, then skip to the next page. Oh, by the way, Donald Greer, if you look right there, there's a little button that says subscribe. Push that button for me, please. I know your wife has, but you haven't, so push that little button that says subscribe. Thanks, buddy. And I appreciate you guys' support. Let's get into building a West Coast Chopper 140 Dominator. So the first thing that, so he sends me, whoa, whoops. Oh, I just scratched the crap out of that. Like surface scratch, but this damn magnet just scratched the crap out of that. My bad, Omar. Anyways, yeah, look at that. It's little tiny magnet. Anyways, so he sends me some parts, like he collects parts and then he's like, okay, let's start building. That way a lot of the money that in parts is kind of been done. So he sent this cool tank. It's a Sportster type of tank, but except, I don't know if you can see the tunnel or it's like a flat bottom, but it's a curved flat bottom. Now they call it flat bottom because the bottom's flat, but this one has a curve in it, which is really cool. And it'd be perfect for this bike because of that right there. So it would kind of follow the frame and curve. The problem is, this is a normal tank that most chopper people that build choppers, they usually do that. Well, that's the problem. It don't fit. Dominators have a fatter backbone. I want to say let's find out. This bike's got a 2-inch backbone. I wanted to see, that's FXR chopper. Hold on. So my chopper with the Daytech frame is an 1.5 inch tube. So yeah, so this thing's huge. I'm gonna end up building a new tank and there's other reasons why, and you will know that because you're gonna follow along, right? So as far as the frame, everything's gonna be pretty much the same. I don't have to modify the frame or anything like that. I will be doing certain neat little things to run the wires through and the hydraulic lines and different stuff like that. I'll be doing all of that stuff. Removing forward control mounts because it will be a mid-control mounted bike. Other than that, that's about it. I'll do some file work and then I'll have Funky Town shine it up. So this bike, I'll go ahead and give you a heads up. It's not going to be a flat bike. He's got a flat bike with the gloss orange flames and everything else is like muted out, flat and scuffed up. This is going to be a glitter box. When I say glitter box, it's going to be shiny. Everything's going to be shiny. Yeah, it'd be badass to chrome the frame, but I don't think we're going to go that far. But we will be fully polished motor, transmission, oil tank, pipes, like everything's going to be polished out. So it's going to be a glitter box. So that you will know. He's got parts. I just got some tracking numbers. He's got some more parts to start mocking some stuff up. The wheels is something that we're still trying to figure out. I had some ideas. He kind of shot them down because of the price. You let me start running away with some projects and some ideas, and yeah, it's going to get expensive, but I think I found another alternative to still kind of get the look I'm looking for. It's mostly for the front wheel, but to get the look I'm looking for and a price point that he's happy with or can tolerate, can handle. And so we're looking to do that. So I'm going to be mocking this up. When you see this bike in mock-up stages, it's going to have random wheels on it. I think I have a 16 or 18 rear wheel that I'll put on the back. Actually, I think it's one from the Sportster. We'll be using that one for the rear, and then I have a 21-inch wheel. Actually, the front wheel off of my TV show bike. We'll probably be using that just for the mock-up in the front because we're going to go 21 in the front skinny. I'm going to use that just for mock-up purposes. So when you see this bike for a little bit, it's going to have the oddball wheels for a while we're rolling around because we're going to get custom wheels built, or we're going to try to find a set, some West Coast Choppers wheels. Other than that, yeah. So if you've seen it in the back, there it is. I'm not hiding it from you. We're not hiding it. Just wasn't ready to start working on it. Now I'm getting some parts in. So speaking of that, let's go to the Let me clean off a table and let me explain what we're thinking. All right, come on. So setting this in, what I'm already finding out is this plate interferes with the casting on this twin cam motor, this twin cam case from S&S. And filling in here, I could machine down the case a little bit, but I don't want to take material from this. This is pretty important that we don't take too much material out of it. I might see what I can do. If I could machine down just what is exposed, because it already looks like I have to shave down the front side of the rear frame engine mount, because the motor needs to go back to line up the holes on the front of the case. So I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to machine, I want to machine little to zero off of the cases, the motor cases. So I'm going to shave down some of the material off of the, yeah, you already heard me say it. So I'm going to grind off some off of the rear mount. And then this piece is the piece that I think I would prefer to machine down. And I don't have to machine it off, so I'll keep all of the strength and everything off of it, but it doesn't fit. It's hitting this block back here. So what I'm gonna do is probably just mark how far out I need to go. And I'll just take just a little bit of material, just so that way this piece I want it to bolt on extremely flat onto the motor case, and then leave all of this material for what it needs to be there for. I'm guessing if I machine some off, it obviously is there for a reason, so we want to leave that. So I'm going to machine this down a little bit, do some fly cut off of here, just machine a little groove off of here, and then we'll see if we can get this bolted up. Once we can get this bolted up to the case correctly, then we'll start making clearance for the case to sit inside the cradle better. So let's start off with that. So let me get this out, and then I can take this to the bench so it doesn't accidentally fall or something. Okay, so I went ahead and got some Dicam on there. It's like a candy blue spray paint basically. So I can make some scribes so I know where I need to remove material without removing too much. I'd rather move just enough so that way we keep the strength and the rigidity of this part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it on here as the flat part, slide it over to where it makes contact, and then I got this little, it's like a little ruler, and so just slide it here, kind of slide it across where, see, and it makes the line. It's quite a bit of material, but we will figure that out. And then have a scribe so I can see how high up and how high down we're gonna start and stop. So we're gonna start up here, and there, end up there we go. So I made my little scratches, and you can kind of see how they come at an angle. So I'm gonna do a rough, I'm gonna say it's roughly like right here. So I'm not gonna take you over there while I cut this because I am extremely embarrassed. I still haven't cleaned that part of the shop up yet, and I'm not showing that on film. So that is not gonna be shown. So let me go cut this real quick. I'll bring it back, and then I'll show you where I've cut, and then we'll see if any of this has lined up. I need to make one more mark because it looks like it's coming over pretty far. So there it is. You can see it's kind of like at angles, and then a little bit right across this one. So, all right, be right back. Well, now that that mount is in there, You can see where the back holes are supposed to be, and it's not very close to where I was hoping it'd be. This is still forward. Let me check the back. Well, it's gonna definitely need some more massaging, so let me, God, it's like half a hole off. That's a lot. Okay. Well, let me get this figured out and we'll be back. So that was a butt whooping. It's in now. Not going nowhere. It's crazy tight in the front. What I had to do is on the back, on the back side, I don't know if you could see it. So on the back side, the mount, there was like casting material on the cases that just stuck out eighth of an inch, maybe 1/16 to an eighth of an inch. So what I did is I routered it out because I didn't want to fixture it all up on the machine. So I got a router and just slowly went over it. I don't know if you knew that, but a router, if you take it real slow, it'll actually machine aluminum. So tech tip there. But so I routered it out and made it flat, and now there's a little pocket for the back of the motor mount on the frame to slide into. So I might have to massage the front of the frame. I still haven't even touched the frame yet. Everything's been done on the cases or on the back of the plate. So now that I have that, let's move on to transmission. Yikes. I kind of jumped the gun and just got excited and didn't take all the cable and stuff off, so let me get some clippers. I've been known to get excited on some builds, and this is definitely one of the ones that I'm excited about. I mean, who was fortunate enough to build a West Coast chopper Dominator? And then a one-of-one of that. I was just about to freak out and say, not again with the transmission mounts, but I had it in the wrong hole, so we're good. That's not what she said. Cool. So now we got twin cam motor and mocking up with a Jim 6-speed transmission. Definitely not using the cable actuated clutch. We're gonna do hydraulic clutch. I got a Speed Dealer ART replica, one that he machines up, so I got that, so I'll be putting that on here pretty soon. I'm gonna get I think upstairs I have a cam cover, and hell, I think I have most of the stuff to kind of make it look like a complete motor, so let's do that now. So I don't know if you saw on the Lone Star swap meet, found some heads from Aiden, and the reason I got these is right here, compression release valves, factory on a Harley Davidson. See the little pss, 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 pss. So if you're gonna build a big motor and you want compression release valves, I do have the jig so I can put the push button one so it kind of looks choppery, but why not just have automatic compression release valves, right? Eee-wee. You know what I don't have? I don't think I have head bolts, used head bolts, but let's see, maybe I do. That's so cool. But you don't ever hear it. But anyways, still real cool. Well, it is no surprise that I get another West Coast chopper that nothing lines the up. Oh my goodness gracious. So, oil tank touches the primary. That's one thing. So, I'm gonna have to pull this out to see if that relaxes some stuff. Right now, I have all of the motor mounts loosened up and the transmission just kind of sitting there. But when I line everything up, it don't fit. I have to rock the motor back for the belt drive to go on. Now I got a big ass gap in the front of the Why can't I ever get the easy builds? Wonder if this West Coast chopper is going to sit in the back for another 3 years before I want to deal with all of this crap and build it. That's what happened on the last one. Yeah. That just shouldn't be that hard to bolt in. So I'm gonna take the inner primary off. And what I'm doing right now is basically lining everything up. So the best way to line everything up is to go ahead and set the motor in, the transmission in with the bolts loose, which they were. And then you bolt your primary on there and you kind of see where it's gonna sit. And what I try to do is I try to rock it over to the left as the best I can. That chain's gonna be close to that frame. But try to get everything loose and I try to shift it over as far inset as I can. Make sure everything's loose. Right now with it loose, there's a 1/16 of an inch between the transmission case and the down tube. I don't know if that's because they put such a big old down tube in it. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull this off, chase the threads, make sure that, I mean, these are brand new castings, maybe they're just not right. Sometimes when you get chrome hardware, this is a brand new Brute 4 or Brute 4 Primo belt drive, and it came with brand new hardware, which is chrome, which a lot of times I don't like using chrome hardware because the chrome is it doesn't sit inside the threads very well. So when you go to tighten it up, it'll chip and flake, and then it'll gull up, and then you're in for a world of shit. So that's why I don't like chrome hardware. I like polished stainless or just stainless hardware in the primaries and stuff like that. So I'm gonna pull all of this off, and then I have it loose, but I'm gonna pull it all off, chase the threads, make sure that they move in and out, everything goes in and out smoothly, and then I'll try to put it all back together again, and we'll go from there. Well, strike two for West Coast choppers. I couldn't get this twin cam case in with the Evo mount, and no matter what I did, it's putting everything in a bind. Like, I'm having a lot of problems. I try to put this, where's it at, right? SNS 124 Evo case in there. Didn't line up. So I hate to do stuff like this, but I just do it. So yikes. So so check it out. What I did is I went ahead and this is all bolted in, squared up. I went ahead and removed the rear motor mount. I got the transmission sitting nice and flush. I got the front motor mount sitting nice and flush. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to massage this until it lines up with everything the way it's supposed to be. I'll tack weld it in. So once I get this tacked in, I'll go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and set up my frame jig. I'll take my move that, set up the frame jig, get this all jigged up, set it up, lock it down, weld it in real good where it where it's going to be now. Make sure this all stays flat and like this and like that. So that way everything goes on. Because even when I had some of the stuff working, like when you would disconnect these bolts and the primary would move out, it would fall down. So it wasn't aligned this way because of this rear mount, I believe. But anyways, I'm gonna get it figured out. It's all flat, everything sits right. I got clearances correct. All the clearances, even for the motor bolt and the primary bolts, are correct. I got spaces for my sensors. Everything's correct now. I just gotta massage this, get this put in there, bolted in there, tack welded in there, and then we can move forward. So, good progress. Just some days you gotta take a break and think about some stuff and figure it out and kind of think, okay, what can I do? What can I do? So I got tired of machining the crap out of that little bracket in the back, and then I was gonna have to slot some holes. I'm like, I'm not slotting holes because something gets loose, it's gonna move and stuff like that. I'd rather have it with just the little bit of play that they come, like most frames have, rather than slots, because slots are just gonna move around too much. Transmission slots are okay, I guess. It's the motor slots. I don't want them too big. I don't want this motor moving around too much. So it's going to be set up the way for the motor that's going in it, the twin cam, and that's the way it is. So sorry about that, whoever built this frame, but yeah. Anyways, I'm going to make it right. Let's go. Okay, so we got everything kind of figured out where we want it. I just want to show you that when the motor and the transmission is mounted incorrectly, like it should just pop on and off, a little wiggle. There shouldn't be any movement. When this goes on, it should just slide on. Earlier when I was sliding it on, and then I'd have to move the motor, I'd have to rock the transmission back, and then I could hear the little clink where it's like locking in. Now you can see where that's it. It just goes on now. So now I can kind of just bolt it up, make sure everything doesn't move. I'm going to use this. I have put anti-seize on these threads just because during mock-up I don't want anything to kind of seize up, because sometimes things don't go on very easily, and when you do that, if you try to over torque it, especially like on chrome bolts, so I go just like that. If I hear it starting to get crazy, then I like, see, that one went all the way and this one made a little noise. Let's see, maybe it just wasn't lined up correctly. It's good to go. So I'm not tightening it like crazy. There's no Loctite. I don't have a torque wrench. This is just for mock-up, just to get everything seated. So I can kind of step back and take a look. And I mean, looking at it now, like, it's straight dead nuts. The primary backing plate and this tube and this one right here are straight as an arrow. It don't get much straighter than that. So now I'm happy. Now we can move forward on getting the drivetrain lined up. Got to figure out, I forgot what 23, 24 tooth, I forgot what the toothage is on a chain drive setup. I know I have the sprocket around here somewhere, so I'm gonna slap that on the rear wheel, get that in here, take the primary off. When I do the welding, I'll slap on a front pulley. I got like 3 or 4 chains over here, so I'll check into those and use them as a mock-up chain, because grinding dust and all that other stuff just isn't good for the chains. That it's going to get in there, and it's going to get in, especially like these O-ring chains that we usually run on the Harley, so that we don't have to lubricate them as much. All of the shavings and grinding and dust and stuff like that getting in there, it's just going to eat up all of the O-ring stuff. So I like to use mock-up chains just to make sure chain alignment is straight, make sure everything moves great, cool. And then final assembly, I put the final chain on. So I have some mock-up chains that we'll use to get drivetrain squared up, but yeah, I'm excited. I have a friend looking out for me. We're gonna try to get a crank in here, so that way I can make sure all my mid-controls, belt drive and stuff like that's going on, but I already have stuff I'm gonna do to modify the belt drive, so that'll be pretty cool. Yeah, so let me get this welded up. I'll stop talking and let's get to work. All right, all right, all right, all right.